June 1970. Pretoria, Transvaal Province, South Africa. In the quiet government suburbs just east of the city center, a young woman named May Haldeman was rebuilding her life one small step at a time. She had been born thousands of miles away in Regina, Saskatchewan, Canada, into a family that refused to live an ordinary existence. When she was only a toddler, her parents, Joshua and Winifred Haldeman, a chiropractor and pilot, packed up their home and moved halfway across the world to Pretoria. Mai grew up traveling across the Kalahari Desert in a single-engine plane her father piloted, learning that borders were only suggestions and that survival required both calm and precision. By her early 20s, she had already built a career as a model and later studied dietetics at the University of the Orange Free State. She understood discipline in a way most people never would. Not far away lived Errol Graham Musk, an electromechanical engineer born and raised in Pretoria. He worked on major engineering projects across the city, office complexes, municipal systems, and later, property development. Charming, brilliant, and unpredictable, he represented the complexity of South Africa's changing middle class, ambitious, resourceful, and always chasing something bigger than what lay in front of him. May and Errol got married in 1970, but it was not a union built on peace. It was a fragile blend of intellect, attraction, and deep incompatibility. And yet, from that instability, a child was about to emerge. June 28, 1971. On a winter morning at Pretoria's Lady Grey Hospital, May gave birth to her first son, Elon Musk. He entered a world divided, socially, politically, and even within his own home.
He grew up in a very violent home. Like, for example, when I always had to drive the car and he would be punching me and Elon would be between the seats hitting his father to stop him punching me. When he would be at home and punching me, Kimball and Tosca would be crying in the corner because they were really babies. Elon was 5, Kimball 4, Tosca 3. Elon would be hitting his dad at the back of his legs. And then when he was 8, we left.
Errol's career kept him moving among construction sites and engineering contracts across the region. May worked multiple jobs while raising Elon and his siblings, often modeling part-time, lecturing, and running nutrition practices in Johannesburg and Durban. By the mid-1970s, the marriage dissolved. May moved the children north to Waterkloof, a suburb overlooking the jacaranda-lined streets of Pretoria, while Errol remained nearby. His relationship with Elon marked by admiration, conflict, and emotional distance.
It was very violent. It was not a happy childhood. My father has serious issues.
The instability of those early years shaped him. He retreated into books, thousands of them, science fiction, encyclopedia volumes, engineering manuals. At age 9, he read the entire Britannica because there was nothing else left in the house. But the most important shift came in 1988, when Mai, who had regained her Canadian citizenship and rebuilt her career, made the most consequential decision of Elon's young life. She moved her children out of South Africa, first to Toronto, Ontario, then to Saskatoon, Saskatchewan, then to Kingston, where Elon enrolled at Queen's University. It was not an escape from the country. It was an escape toward possibility. A shift from a fractured childhood to a world where ambition wasn't a risk. It was expected. And from that moment on, Elon Musk's life no longer followed a straight path. It accelerated. Because to understand how a man could one day accumulate over $400 billion, you have to understand the forces that shaped him long before he had money, before he had influence, before the world knew his name. You have to understand where he came from. You have to search for the answers way beyond the billions.
I was lonely, alone in Cape Town. I wasn't in a happy situation, and I thought, well, what can be worse? Marriage can't be that bad.
By the mid-1970s, the Musk household no longer existed as a single unit. Elon split his time between his mother's calmer, structured environment and his father's more volatile home in Waterkloof Ridge, one of Pretoria's older, well-established suburbs. What separated Elon from other children wasn't intelligence. South Africa was full of gifted kids. It was isolation. At school, he was the quiet one, thin, soft-spoken, often lost in thought, the kind of boy other children didn't understand and therefore didn't tolerate. The bullying wasn't casual either. Pretoria boys' schools were infamous for their hierarchy. Strength was currency. Silence was a weakness. Once, after weeks of targeted harassment, a group of boys pushed Elon down a flight of stairs, dragged him across the concrete, and beat him so badly he was hospitalized. He wouldn't fully recover for weeks. But while other children fought for social space, Elon fought for mental space. His refuge was books. He read fantasy novels the way most kids played sports, obsessively. When he was 10 years old, he discovered something that changed his trajectory permanently: computers. It was a modest Commodore VIC-20 with a manual so dense most adults would have abandoned it by page 20. Elon didn't. He finished the entire manual in 3 days. 2 days later, he wrote his first video game, a space-themed shooter called Blaster, and sold it to a magazine for $500. He didn't celebrate. He simply moved on to the next problem. Even at 10, he had the strange, unnerving ability to disappear into his mind for hours. Not daydreaming, computing, simulating ideas, sorting patterns, rebuilding the world inside his head.
I think when I was, 5 or 6 or something, I thought I was insane.
Why did you think you were insane?
Because it was clear that other people did not. Their mind wasn't exploding with ideas.
At home, the contrast between his parents became sharper. His mother, May, pushed for structure and independence, often juggling multiple jobs just to keep the family afloat. His father, Errol, brilliant but emotionally unpredictable, exposed Elon to engineering concepts, machinery, and problem solving, yet also to psychological turmoil that would follow him for decades.
You said I would be beaten up. Did you suffer that kind of abuse?
Yes. Yeah. I think I was beaten up. When I was married, I was told about 3 times a day that I'm boring and stupid and, and ugly.
This contradiction, an engineer's precision and an unstable emotional environment, shaped both the sharpness of his mind and the hardness of his personality. By 1988, as the political climate in South Africa worsened and the future became uncertain, Elon made a decision larger than himself. He would leave. He applied for a Canadian passport through his mother's side of the family and left Pretoria with almost no money, 2 suitcases, and a stubborn belief that his future was not in the country he was born into. Canada wasn't the destination. It was the door, a stepping stone toward the country he had already memorized from books, interviews, and library archives, the United States. A place he believed wasn't just geography, but a frequency, a wavelength only a certain type of person could hear. And Elon Musk, even as a young immigrant working odd jobs in Toronto, believed he was tuned to that frequency. His life was no longer just moving forward, it was accelerating. Because the early signs of ambition weren't loud, they were quiet, slow, relentless. And nobody, not even Elon, understood just how far they would take him. When Elon finally reached North America, he didn't step into success, he stepped into uncertainty. In 1992, after working his way through odd jobs in Canada, cleaning boilers in dark basements and farming on rural fields, he managed to transfer from Queen's University to the University of Pennsylvania in Philadelphia. This was the first environment where Elon didn't feel misplaced. He took a dual major, physics and economics, not because he wanted degrees, but because they represented how the world worked. Physics explained the rules, economics explained the game, and Elon Musk was preparing to play it at a level nobody else could see. But real life didn't wait. At 24, armed with $2,000 and an idea most people didn't take seriously, Elon moved to California, the beating heart of the new digital world. The timing could not have been more dangerous or more perfect. The internet was young, chaotic, and unpredictable. Most people didn't know what online even meant, but Elon saw the future, a world where information moved like oxygen, instantly and everywhere. With his brother Kimball, he started his first company from a small office where they slept on beanbags and showered at the local YMCA. The name was simple, Zip2. Its mission? Digitize city maps, business directories, and allow newspapers to offer an online version of themselves. Today, that sounds obvious. In 1995, it was revolutionary. Elon coded day and night until the system ran. He cold-called newspapers relentlessly. He pushed the product with the intensity of someone who didn't know how to stop.
It
Take us back to when you really started all of this.
Well, that was the summer of '95. I had no money whatsoever. I was working, doing research in Silicon Valley on a completely different subject and trying to start this company at the same time. And when it came time to decide, do I want to do graduate studies or do I want to start this company? And I decided to start the company. I had no money. As a graduate student, I would have received a scholarship and a stipend and so forth. In starting the company, I had nothing. I had no income source. So we found that an office was actually cheaper than an apartment in Silicon Valley. So we got this dinky little office that had a leaky roof. It was just the nastiest place you can imagine.
And you lived in it too?
And I lived in it too and showered at the YMCA.
The result? In 1999, Compaq bought Zip2 for $307 million. Elon walked away with $22 million at 27 years old. But what he did next is what separates him from every other young millionaire of his generation. He didn't retire, he didn't relax, he didn't even celebrate. He took everything he had just earned and bet it again. Not on real estate, not on stock markets, not on safety, but on money itself. Within weeks of the Zip2 sale, Elon founded X.com, an online banking platform. In 1999, this was insanity. People didn't trust the internet enough to read news online, let alone store their money on it. But Elon wasn't following public opinion. He was following inevitability. He worked obsessively, sleeping in the office, living on fast food, pushing engineers until the product could handle millions. Within months, X.com merged with a smaller company called Confinity, which had a product named PayPal. And this was the beginning of the storm. The merger brought chaos. The board fought him. Executives disagreed with his vision. There were internal politics, power struggles, late-night calls, and disagreements over everything from server architecture to leadership style. Elon pushed harder, but the more he pushed, the more resistance he attracted. Eventually, while Elon was on a flight to Australia, the board voted to remove him as CEO. Most founders would have crumbled, most would have quit. But here's the twist. When PayPal was finally acquired by eBay for $1.5 billion, Elon Musk, still the largest shareholder, walked away with $180 million. And he was just getting started. Because Zip2 proved he could build, PayPal proved he could fight. But what he was about to do next would prove something far more dangerous. He was willing to put every dollar, every asset, and even his entire reputation on the line for ideas the world thought were impossible. And that is where the story turns from surprising to unbelievable. After PayPal, Elon Musk had enough money to disappear forever. He could have lived quietly, safely, comfortably for the rest of his life. But Elon didn't play life defensively. He played it like a grandmaster looking 10 moves ahead. The moment his PayPal deal closed in 2002, he did something no sane entrepreneur would do. He poured $100 million into a private space company. At the time, private aerospace companies were seen as a joke. Governments, not individuals, launched rockets. NASA struggled with budgets larger than most countries, and here was Elon, a man with no aerospace background, announcing that he would make humanity multiplanetary. People laughed. Experts dismissed him. Journalists wrote headlines calling it the most unrealistic startup in Silicon Valley. Elon named it SpaceX, and from day one, everything went wrong. The first rocket, Falcon 1. It didn't explode immediately. It waited. It lifted off perfectly, flew beautifully, and then spiraled into the Pacific Ocean failure. Millions gone. But Elon didn't stop. He approved the second launch. Launch number 2, another failure. This time, a fuel leak, more millions lost. By the third attempt, SpaceX was running on fumes, financially and emotionally. Engineers were sleeping under their desks. Elon was personally reviewing designs at 3 a.m. Every component was being rebuilt, redesigned, retested. Then came launch number 3. It reached space. Success for exactly 2 minutes. Then the engine shut down and the rocket fell back to Earth. 3 failures. 3 catastrophes. And here's the part most people don't know. SpaceX had money for one more attempt, just one. If the 4th rocket failed, SpaceX was dead. Musk's entire fortune gone. Thousands of dreams gone, and the mission impossible. At the same time, his other company, Tesla, was collapsing under brutal costs, production failures, and a global financial crisis. Elon had invested $70 million into Tesla, and the company was suffocating. Cars weren't being produced on time, costs were out of control. The media mocked the idea of an electric sports car, and the board began to question whether he should stay involved. Elon was now running two dying companies at the same time. SpaceX was on its last rocket. Tesla was on its last dollar. His money was gone, completely gone. He had burned through almost everything he earned from PayPal to pay bills. He borrowed money from friends. He was flying economy class. He had weekends where he didn't know if he could meet payroll. He was a billionaire on paper, but in real life, he was inches from bankruptcy. And then, the world tightened the noose. The 2008 financial crisis. Banks collapsed. Investors vanished. The economy was free-falling. This should have been the end. Logically, mathematically, statistically, this should have destroyed Elon Musk. People around him whispered that he should shut down Tesla, save SpaceX's last funds, protect himself. But Elon didn't build companies to be safe. He built them because he believed humanity needed them, so he did the unthinkable. He split the last of his remaining cash evenly between both companies, even though it wasn't enough for either. He risked everything to save everything. And then came September 28, 2008, the fourth launch of Falcon 1. A tiny group of engineers gathered on Omelek Island, holding their breath. Years of pain, sacrifice, failure, and humiliation, all condensed into this one moment. The rocket lifted. It held, it climbed, it crossed the Kármán line, and finally, it reached orbit. For the first time in history, a privately built liquid-fueled rocket made it into space. SpaceX didn't just succeed, it rewrote aerospace history. But hours later came the twist that broke the impossible open. NASA called. They awarded SpaceX a $1.6 billion contract. One phone call saved the company. One launch saved Elon Musk. One moment changed the future. Tesla survived too, at the absolute last second, with a desperate Christmas Eve investment round that Elon personally negotiated. From the edge of total collapse, both companies came back to life. And the world had no idea that the greatest comeback in modern business history had just happened. For years, people tried to explain Elon Musk's rise using simple answers. Luck? Timing? Money from PayPal? Publicity? But none of those explain what happened after 2008. Because after barely escaping collapse, after almost losing everything, he didn't slow down. He accelerated. SpaceX didn't just survive, it dominated. Tesla didn't just recover, it rewired the global auto industry. And Elon Musk didn't become one of the richest men in the world because he built one successful company. He became one of the richest men in history because he built multiple trillion-dollar engines at the same time. This is the secret people miss. Elon Musk doesn't build companies, he builds inevitabilities. Let me explain. Most entrepreneurs chase markets that already exist, but Elon targets industries where the demand will explode. The infrastructure is failing, the competition is comfortable, and the world is begging for disruption. He looks for cracks in the future, then wedges an entire industry through them. SpaceX wasn't about rockets. It was about the inevitability of cheaper access to space. Tesla wasn't about cars. It was about the inevitability of electrification. Neuralink isn't about microchips. It's about the inevitability of merging biological intelligence with digital intelligence. Starlink isn't about satellites. It's about the inevitability of global internet. And the Boring Company isn't about tunnels. It's about the inevitability of faster transit in overcrowded cities. In every industry he touches, Elon does the same thing. He bets his life on what the world will eventually need, long before the world realizes it. That's the pattern. That's the formula behind the $400 billion. Not luck, not magic, not privilege, but a dangerous combination of absurd risk tolerance, physics-level thinking, monstrous work ethic, timing that is almost unnatural, and a willingness to sacrifice everything. Most billionaires protect wealth. Elon risked it again and again. Most billionaires defend their companies. Elon built companies that rewrote industries. Most billionaires build empires. Elon built infrastructures. That is why he stands alone. That is why analysts couldn't understand him, why investors doubted him, why his companies were mocked repeatedly until they weren't. Because no matter how many failures, setbacks, crashes, or controversies hit him, Elon Musk always returned with a bigger idea than the problem that tried to stop him. And by the time the world caught on, his companies weren't startups anymore. They were pillars of the future. SpaceX controls private spaceflight. Tesla controls the EV market. Starlink is becoming the nervous system of global connectivity. Neuralink is pushing the frontier of neuroscience. And X, formerly Twitter, is his attempt to reshape communication itself. One person, 5 industries, and a playbook no one can fully copy. But here's the real twist, the part that truly reveals the secret. Elon Musk didn't become a multi-hundred billionaire because he wanted money. He became one because he was willing to lose it all to push the world forward. And ironically, that is the mindset that money can't resist. Elon Musk's story isn't finished, and neither is the story of the world's greatest innovators, the people who reshape industries, rewrite rules, and force history to move forward. If you want to understand them, if you want to break down the strategies behind the most extraordinary rises, if you want to see the patterns hidden inside every great empire, then this is where you need to be. This is the Business X-ray, where we don't just tell stories, we dissect them. So when you're ready, there's another story waiting, bigger, darker, and even more unbelievable than this one. I'll see you there.